Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and we're doing another seasonal championship, continuing on with the World Cup theme with Home Street Home. And yeah, we're in B-class cars, so yeah, we should have a new raft of vehicles to choose from, rather than the ones that we had before. And yeah, hopefully none of them will repeat between the other seasonal championship that will eventually get done on Wednesday. So yeah, let's see what cars we can choose and what we're going to be racing on. Right, so we're in the stadium for that one, and we're in the more swampy areas for that one. These are street scene races as well by the looks of it. So yeah, we've got the BMW M3 from 2005, we've got the Ford Focus RS from 2009, Jaguar XES, which I actually really rather like. It's yeah, one of my favourite cars. I don't know why I've got two of them though, but we'll go for the more basic one. And yeah, then we've got the Lamborghini Miura. Again, we've got two Skylines for some reason. I must have a lot of doubles out there, but yeah. And then we've also got the Renault Megane R26R, which is a formidable hot hatchback. So yeah, I think we'll go play it safe for a little bit. We'll go for the start with the Jaguar, because yeah, it's a really rather good mid-sized saloon. It's got plenty of power, 340 horsepower. Yeah, it weighs quite a fair bit, but it's actually faster than it would ever look in comparison to the you know, the horsepower and the weight that it actually has got going. So let's get in it and represent Britain for this first race. I don't stick with one country's cars, by the way. I mix it up. So I know some people like to just represent the one country that they're all for, but I'm not really bothered, to be honest. I prefer the cars over the countries. And yeah, unlike some other modern saloon cars, this is supercharged, not turbocharged, which yeah, makes it a bit different to the norm. Makes it a little bit more potent and a little bit, you know, more responsive, having a supercharger over turbocharger or turbochargers. So yeah, and it feels a lot lighter than it actually is, which is helpful. I may well bump up the difficulty though at some point, because I do seem to be winning more times than not. Plus it does give you extra credits for bumping the difficulty up, and more money on this game is no bad thing, considering there's a lot more expensive cars in this game than there seems to be on the previous one. This does love to slide around when you want it to. It's also got plenty of grip when you want it to be a bit more serious. Me outbraking myself there, unfortunately. Guess it's no surprise that we're doing well though, considering, you know, 340 horsepower, which is I think the most out of this lot. I'm not sure how much the BMW has, and yeah, we are also the most modern car here. So yeah, more modern grip, more modern power, more modern brakes as well, which is helpful. think I rated this car all that much when I originally drove it in one of the previous Forza games, but yeah, definitely a big fan of it now, and it seals the win for this first race, giving us all an important 20 points. And the Nissan GTR came in second, representing Japan. BMW in third, representing Germany, and yeah, the Megane came in fifth, representing France. So yeah, but as you can see, there was quite a gap between me and second place. So we had a resounding victory there. But yeah, nonetheless, let's get on to that second race. Right, so we are going to bump up the difficulty, as I'll show you now. So no one thinks I'm lying. So yeah, bump it up to Pro. So now we get 50% extra credits, as you can see. And yeah, that should hopefully right, saved. So yeah, hopefully that'll give a bit more of a challenge. Right, so yeah, we might not have the most power here because the Miura has 10 extra horsepower, but is the oldest car here. But we have 40 more than the Focus and 7 more than the M3, while a hell of a lot more torque because we're supercharged. But yeah, still, I think we're gonna go big power hot hatch. It's not got quite the handling of the Jaguar, or the braking, for that matter of fact. And I am surprised that the Jaguar is one of the best handling here. I feel like going for the Megane actually. Seems to have the better acceleration than the Ford, and yeah, has the better handling and braking as well. So yeah, we're gonna go for the Megane. Plenty of power in this car, and yeah, it's been purpose built to be as lightweight as possible. You know, it's got perspex screen, windscreen, windows on the side. It's got roll cage. It's stripped out completely at the back. So yeah, very track focused kind of car. Granted, we are on the road, but I don't think that will harm too much. Obviously not quite the acceleration of the Jaguar, because we just have, you know, more than 100 horsepower down, but we are lighter and definitely a better handling vehicle. And even though it is obviously front wheel drive, it doesn't have, you know, a hell of a lot of understeer, because it's not nowhere near as powerful as say that Focus, which does have a lot of understeer. There's two BMWs fighting there, which is helpful. This is definitely more of a track car though than a hot hatchback, in the traditional sense anyway, because yeah, there's no rear seats in this, there's no real practicality that you'd expect from a hatchback, especially a hot one. The whole point of a hot hatchback is to balance between practicality and normality and speed and acceleration and performance, whereas this is just all about speed, performance and handling. Which it succeeds at, no doubt about that. It's for a success in that regard, but it's just a shame it comes at the expense of everything else. Whereas nowadays you don't need that compromise. You can have all the power, the handling and the performance while still being a practical, usable everyday car. This is obviously a lot older than most of the best of the hot hatches, so that's why. Didn't quite have the technology back then to you know, be able to balance between the two aspects. But it is still great. It's easily one of my favourite you know, front wheel drive powerful cars out there, and I really did like the fact that they added it in the previous Forza game when they were adding a bunch of French cars to that game, and yeah, it was a real treat to see this make a debut on a Forza game. Oh dear. Concentrating there. And yeah, really glad that it's made a return to this one. Rather than, you know, sometimes they add a new car to the series and then it mysteriously vanishes from the game that comes after. Granted, that's happened with a few cars that were introduced into the previous game, but a lot of those cars were focused on Britain and British cars. So I never expected that the likes of an Austin FX4 Taxi were going to return to this, or a bunch of the British sports cars or normal cars from the 60s and 70s and the 80s that were introduced. So, you know, your Rover SD1, Triumph Spitfire. Never expected them to make a return, but hopefully they will in the next Forza Motorsport game. It'd be great to drive them around, and hopefully this will make a return as well. So, because yeah, like I said, it is a track car at the end of the day more than a normal hot hatchback. So, yeah, resounding victory there. Despite bumping up the difficulty, the Megane wiped the floor with everyone else. Granted, the BMWs at the beginning there were fighting, so that would have held them back, but still doesn't really account for a near 5-second gap between me and the next Megane. So yeah, Germany had three of theirs in the top 5 there, then the 2 Japanese Nissan GTRs, and then the Ford Focus representing America. Britain all the way back with the Jaguar, which is a shame, but yeah. Still, let's get on to the 3rd and final race and see if we can continue this winning streak. Right, so we've been to France, we've been to Britain, but I don't think we've driven a German car on one of these yet. So I think we'll go for the BMW. It's got the second highest top speed out of cars here. I think the only reason it's less than the Jaguar is because it's got a little bit less in power and probably not quite as aerodynamic being an older car, but yeah. The handling and acceleration is pretty good. The acceleration is better than the Jaguar, but the handling is slightly down. Launch is about the same. But braking is down because obviously it is a far older car. But yeah, still 333 horsepower from a naturally aspirated 3.2 litre inline 6, and it's got bang on 50-50 weight distribution. It's lighter than a Jaguar, so it should be a little bit more agile. But yeah, still, I don't think I've driven one of these for a long time, so it's going to be interesting to see what it's like. But yeah, it's not the ultimate version of this car. Obviously, there was that, I think the GTR version or whatever it's called, that had, you know, like a carbon fibre roof and everything, but yeah, still, it should be pretty good. Ultimate driving machine and all that. Certainly higher revving than the Jaguar. Those brakes are definitely weaker. Something I'm definitely going to have to take into account when trying to overtake in braking zones. Jaguar's getting quite aggressive. Fairly long gears on this as well. This is another one of those cars though that's still not had the full Forza Vista treatment, which is a shame. You'd think a classic like this would get it, but unfortunately not. Which is again the case with lots of cars that, you know, been on loads of Forza games since before this game's release, and still haven't given them the Forza Vista treatment. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. You know, like so the classic Mini, the Miura that we could have chose from for this championship. This, so many different cars, and yet they've still been given a full Forza Vista treatment. Obviously, I'm not talking about, you know, lesser known cars. These are, you know, classics that have been well known for decades or years, and yeah, been in several previous Forza games, and you'd expect them to, you know, finally give them a full overhaul in terms of being able to look at them, but sadly that has not been the case. granted, I think these Forza Horizon games are a lot less driver focused, a lot less, you know, race focused than, you know, the motorsport games, which is maybe why they're not that fussed about, you know, doing the full Forza Vista treatment for, you know, most, you know, classic cars. So I do hope that they change that up for the next Forza Motorsport game, but I'm not hopeful. I would like them to do Forza Vista treatment for all cars, and then I can review all sorts of variety of vehicles, but that just doesn't seem likely. Nearly messed it up at the end there though. That fellow M3 was gaining on us, but not quickly enough. So yeah, despite upping the difficulty for the second and third race there, I was not struggling too much at all. So yeah, either the choice of vehicles I'm choosing is really rather good, or yeah, the difficulty on Pro just isn't quite as difficult as you'd expect. But still, 20 points there gives us a full 60, with the Jaguar in second place with 46 points. And then we have to go all the way down to 5th to find the next country, with the Ford Focus at 30, and then Japan with 23 with the Nissan GTR. So yeah, Italy dragging way the whale behind, as well as France in 11th and 12th. I don't think Italy's done very well on these you know, World Cup Championships at all, because the previous two that we did had the Lamborghini LM002, which was not great at all. So yeah, they've been saddled with either crap cars or ones that are really far older than the rest that you can choose from. That has just hindered them a lot, but regardless, yeah, got the full 60 points. That will get us the car that is on reward, and provide 5 points towards the season overall, or the series overall, and then the current season that we're in. So yeah, well worth doing just for those points, but still, you get credits, experience, and a few fun races. So yeah, nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.